Hi everyone, my name is Nikki and this is my first YouTube video. My real name is actually Neka, but I decided to change it to Nikki when everyone I told it to would pronounce it wrong. I'm new here in Canada and everyone I told my name would butcher it. So I told my classmate of mine my name was Neka and she was like, Nigga? So how how did you get there? And she was white. Like, no, just call me Nikki. Don't even try to pronounce it right. I've heard nigga, I've had nika, I've had so many different versions of my name. So I decided to make it Nikki so everyone would be safe because I was so tempted to punch her in the throat. So I'm making my first YouTube video based on Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime. His story being born as a crime in an apartheid South African country. So the story, the first chapter, I really love this book, by the way. And before we start, I want to, even though most of you already know who he is, but I just want to say a little bit about Trevor Noah. He's such a brilliant person. He has this daily show called The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, nightly show, and in it he talks about American politics and so many different things and he makes things that otherwise would have been so horrible and earth shattering. He makes it look so funny. I mean, I think for some people, he makes it easier to live with the horrible reality that we're seeing right now today. He's a comedian, of course, from South Africa. So the story starts with the first chapter. I'm just going to talk about the first chapter. And before that first chapter, which he titled Run, he put the 1957 Immorality Act, which basically states that if you're a black man in South Africa, you cannot mix with a white lady and vice and the other way around too. I mean, if you're a white lady, you cannot mix with, and if you do that, you get to spend up to 4 years in prison. And no lady is worth that. So imagine this kind of law surrounding interracial relationship, and then you have Trevor, who is a mixed baby. So he's a crime. I bet people looked at him and like, how did you happen? Which one of your parents are in prison? So anyway, so the story starts with Trevor telling about how his mom, I love his mom, totally love her, how his mom threw him out of a moving bus. And the way the thing sounds, throwing a child out of he was 9 years old, throwing a child out of a moving bus, people would be horrified, like, why? How did that happen? But like I said before, Trevor takes something that would be otherwise horrible and somehow manages to make it look funny while still impacting the horror of that situation. So the way he narrates being thrown out of a moving bus, was was epic. But before he got into that, he talked about his mom, how on every Sunday she goes to church, three different churches for three different reasons. She goes there to get I think it was four. I don't know the number of churches that his mom goes to, but she goes to a lot of them, and she drags Trevor wherever she's going. So that particular Sunday, his mom's second-hand car, um, I think it was a Volkswagen, broke down. So Trevor, in this at that point, Trevor kind of wants you to understand that he blames most of the bad things that happens in his life to a second-hand car. The story, because that's how it actually goes. Trevor started in the first paragraph, and he tells you what the whole thing is about. I'm gonna tell you how my mom threw me out of the bus. Then he started going round and round and round and round and round until the day, until the exact time that she threw him out of a bus. The the story goes on to talk about Trevor's mom, how she likes to go to church. Talks about how he came up from a very religious family where sin was not allowed. You go to church so many times in a week. And reading some of the stories that Trevor tell here, it takes me back to my own childhood. Like the part where he said that his mom is a sprinter, just like him. So I swear I've seen my mom do that. Like she's chasing you to try to wrestle you down and beat you up, and while she's in motion, she somehow kicks off her shoe and she's still running. And I got to that part and I laughed my ass out because she that's what Trevor's mom does. Like Trevor said that when she removes her shoe, like kicks it up and starts her heels and starts running, he's like, oh, she's in turbo. That's when he knows that she's in turbo mode. Like, that's it. I'm gonna catch you today, and everybody in the neighborhood knows. And that's how it was with me. I have five siblings. That's how it was with us and my mom. When she wants to beat you, the whole neighborhood is gonna come around. They will have to bail you because she would always tell us, "I gave birth to you. I'm gonna kill you today. And you look at her face and you believe that she's gonna kill you. So anyway, so Trevor talks about his mom and church, which is so much like my family. You His mom goes to so many church, and so does my mom. She would go to school, come back, go for her business, come back and still go to church. And she went for morning mass. Sometimes when I grew up and I felt like my opinion mattered, I would tell her, you have to slow down, because if something happens to you out of all this thing, all this way you're stressing yourself, if something happens to you and you somehow die, the church is still going to be there. So just do what you can within your health and physical limit, and the rest you can do inside your room. God will understand. And he took a rest after all. And that's what Trevor told his mom on the Sunday that the car broke down. Maybe this is a sign. God wants us to rest. He himself took a rest. And the mom did not listen, of course, because she's so determined, and she saw that as an obstacle that she was willing to sprint over. And that's what she did. She took a Trevor's baby brother and Trevor himself, and they went on the minibus. The minibus is a kind of a system that the South Africans established for themselves, because the government did not provide buses for black people. So they have this all these tough guys and gangster guys that have buses, and they have a particular route that you have to go through, and it's a kind of a law. You cannot go on somebody else's route, and if you did that, they would kill you. It is that strict. You don't just fight or talk it over, they literally kill you. So so Trevor explains so many things. And the that particular Sunday they had a riot, uh, which was, he explained here, that was very common. And in that riot, even with all the troubles and everything going through, the mother was still determined to go to church. Well, on the way back from church, they did not see any minibus. The whole place was really quiet. And the mom was like, okay, Trevor, we're going to work. And as they were walking down, they were hitchhiking. A bus, someone came along and was like, I could give you a ride. And as he was giving them a ride, one minibus came around and wanted to, like, make a big trouble. Like, they were ready to kill the man that was giving Trevor and his mother a ride. But she's a very sensible woman. She calmed down the situation, and they got on the minibus. And as they were going, the bus driver, why do bus drivers always have so much opinion about somebody that they don't know? Somebody just got on your bus and you just assume that you know everything about the person. And well, the bus driver in Trevor's story took it upon himself to start advising Trevor's mom, like, she should not get into bus of people that she doesn't know. Why did she do that, this and that? And the mom, Trevor, she does not suffer idiots. I love that about her. And that's totally how my mom is. She would literally, like, stop you right there. She would walk to wherever she's going to, even if it's the next country. She's gonna walk there if you were the only bus around. Anyway, but the situation quickly got out of hand when the man found out that she's from Xhosa, because he's from another tribe, and they believe that Xhosa women are promiscuous, and they're not very well brought up women. And this is an Xhosa woman riding a bus with her children with a strange man that she doesn't know, as if she knew the man that is doing that, as if she knew him. So anyway, he was like, okay, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. And when Trevor's mom saw the change in tone, she also changed her voice. It was like, I'm really sorry. This is not what we meant. You can just leave us here. We can get where we're going to on our own. But the man was like, no, no, no. And that's when she knew that they were in trouble, that their life was literally in danger, because this man could do anything to them. He could rape Trevor's mom, like he said. He could kill them. He could do whatever he wanted, because there was no one else in the bus, and they could not see anybody around at all. So, but at every intersection, the man would slow down the bus as the traffic says so there, before he gets off and start going again. And as he was driving, he was ranting and saying what he would do to Trevor's mom. Now Trevor, who has been going from church to church, is really, really tired, and he's always nodding off. He could not feel the tension in the air, because he was really, really tired. And he did not really understand what his mother said to him when she whispered, Trevor, when the bus slows down, I want you to jump out of the bus. Open the door and jump out. His mind was not there. And the next thing, Trevor said, how did he explain it? Trevor said that next thing he was sleeping, and the next second he was wide awake and outside the bus. Like he just, the mother, once the bus slowed down, the mother grabbed Trevor and threw him out of the bus. Then that scene gave me goosebumps. His baby brother, she coiled herself to protect the baby, and then she threw herself out of the bus. And they did not even settle down from jumping out of the bus when Trevor's mother shouted, "Run, Trevor, run!" And they started running. Just the forerunners of South Africa. That's what I see them in my mind as the forerunners of South Africa. And it's a horrible situation. It's totally horrible that you get into a bus trying to go home with your children, and then before you know, your life is in danger. It's horrible. But the way Trevor explains it, I can't help but smile and laugh when I read about it. But when you finish laughing and smiling and you think about it, it's a very horrible thing. But they started running, and they did not stop. They did not look back. And the men tried to give them a chase, but what they did not know, they were running after after the son of Patricia and Patricia, and nobody could catch them. And they ran until they got to the nearest police station, and the men gave up. And before the police, they went to look for them, but they did not find them. But when they got to the police station, Trevor was like, "What?" Right here, page 17. Okay, what is that? What was that? Why were we running? You have to explain to me something. Why are we running? And the man was like, "What do you mean? Why are we running? Those men were trying to kill us." I say, "Well, you never told me that. You always tell me that. You should always give somebody a warning before you throw them out of the bus." Anyway, that was the end. Oh well, it ended. The ending of this particular chapter, which he titled "Run," was really really heartwarming because with he was like, "This is why I said we shouldn't go for the church." And I was like, "No, Trevor, this is the devil talking." And in the end, Trevor, this statement was like, "Look, mom, I know you love Jesus, but maybe next week you could ask him to meet us at our house because this really wasn't fun." This really wasn't a fun night. And the mother just looked at him, and then she broke into a huge smile. Look, just can you imagine the beauty of that, with cuts and bruises and bleeding in different places and still holding a child in her hand after having just escaped such horrible men? She and this her 9-year-old boy standing in a police station broke into a huge smile and started laughing after what they just went through. How can you not love these two people? Well, this is the end of the first chapter, which is Run. So Trevor said so many things about South Africa in this chapter. I love it. It's kind of trying to show you how he was thrown out of the bus. He explained so many things that was going on in South Africa, and the ANC, the political parties, and the Zulu, and how the white men came, and even the day that Nelson Mandela was freed, and everybody was so happy. He didn't know why, but he was happy too. So um, I hope you really like it. Like I said before, my name is Nikki, and if I read, well, not if I, when I read the next chapter, which is next chapter would be, where is it? Aha, the second one, Born a Crime, where I'm going to also make a video about it. I don't know if people are gonna like these videos or not, but I love reading books, and Trevor Noah's book is absolutely wonderful. I just want, you should really should read it. I want as much people, especially people that grew up in the Western world. You have to read the story to actually appreciate what you have here, because a lot of people take for granted the kind of freedom, the security with which they grew up with, and it's just I feel like you should really read it so you can appreciate more what you already have. But thank you. Like I said, my name is Nikki, and see you next time.